What everyone gets wrong about INFJs. Number 1. They're emotional. INFJs are empathetic, but not necessarily outwardly emotional. I have observed that they can be quite stoic. They spend their time focused more on the emotions of those around them. It is highly unusual for them to be overtly emotional, since that involves putting their own emotions onto others. They are instead usually receivers in this area, hence them being in the archetype of therapist, i.e. a role that is about listening and receiving emotions. They are sponges, and sponges absorb. Well, unless you squeeze them, which I wouldn't recommend. They also strongly value introverted thinking. It's a function that they get great relief from and fall back on regularly when trying to understand the world. As I've described them before, I see them as the thinking person's feelers. As introverted intuition dominant types, they are among the most introspective. In my experience with them, they navigate their feelings with introspection and contemplation, rather than externalizing them. So in my view, it doesn't make sense to describe them as emotional in the typical sense. Number 2. They avoid conflict at all costs. INFJs tend to address issues thoughtfully, often diplomatically. They aim to understand all perspectives. This strategic approach is often mistaken for conflict avoidance. In truth, they are seeking the most effective and harmonious way to resolve disputes. I've seen INFJs actively insert themselves into conflict because they believe in their ability to find resolution. As the saying goes, those who want peace should prepare for war. That is the approach that INFJs are more than willing to take if needed. Number 3. They are disconnected from reality. Being an NI-DOM certainly makes you weird. Intuitives are often described as being detached from the real, tangible world, and they often are. However, in the case of the INFJ, their extroverted feeling ties them to reality because it ties them to people. They are ultra-perceptive to what's going on around them when people are involved, spotting their subtle facial expressions and reading them, detecting verbal cues, navigating conversations and interactions in a way that puts people more at ease, makes them more receptive, and feel more seen. That approach to life is one that is fundamentally engaged with the external world. Sometimes, they wish they were less bound by such things. Also, their inferior extroverted sensing can manifest in a few ways. One is a perfectionism when it comes to the sensory and sensual. Another is when it bubbles up and makes them want to act on impulse and out of desire, which is not an uncommon thing for them. So, because of these reasons, they are not as disconnected from reality as they're often described. If you're an INFJ, don't disconnect from me, and give me the Christmas gift of your subscription.